What's up, everybody? Welcome to State of the Nation, the Athletics Raiders podcast, or should we call it State of the Draft? Because I think the 2019 draft is where it's time to turn our focus to, I guess. Jimmy Durkin and Vic Tafur.
No, I can't talk draft yet. It's October. It's just, some things got to be sacred. You can't have draft talk in October.
Well, that's what this team is looking forward to.
I don't care. I'm looking at the Colts. The Colts game is a big game for.
It's a big game for draft position
for the fans who paid their money for this game, and for the players who have to show they have some pride. Young players trying to prove themselves. I just can't talk. I mean, I know what's going on, but I can't talk draft in October. I refuse.
But we're looking ahead to the future of the Raiders. That was a big focus from John Gruden today. Obviously, you guys all know Monday the trade went down. The Raiders sent, and you know we were very critical, obviously, of the Khalil Mack trade back in August. This is the trade: Amari Cooper to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. That, with where this team's at, I mean, it's a great deal. If you're the Raiders, I mean, it's value-wise, it's a good trade, but. You know, the message it sends to the team, maybe not.
And also, I mean, it is good value because I'm surprised they got a one because they're obviously desperate and the Cowboys are desperate. But, I mean, I think it's sad. It's kind of sad that Amari Cooper has fallen enough in not only the team's eyes but in fans' eyes where he's now going to be traded for like a mid-teens pick. And, that's a great value. Now this guy's 24 years old. Like, his first 2 years had historical production, supposed to be an elite receiver, and for whatever reason, I think it's everyone's to blame. Like the quarterback, him, the coaching the last couple of years, everyone takes a part in this. But it's sad that and it's going to be really sad because I really think he's going to do well in Dallas. I think for whatever reason, fresh start. They'll probably throw him the ball more when he's covered. These guys never give him a chance to catch the ball in traffic. They didn't force the ball to him like they would to Crabtree or Cook this year.
And we know some of that is because he didn't necessarily earn that right. He had issues with drops, and so I mean there's some degree where you have to earn that right.
But I think his first couple of years, he didn't make tough catches also. Like the thing about him was he would drop easy passes, but he would make some tough catches in traffic, some high point balls. So at some point they lost faith. I mean, I don't know if Derek did, but there wasn't that connection. There wasn't what's supposed to be between Derek and Amari, and that's kind of sad. And I just think it's he's 24 years old, and I get the Cowboys probably overpaid, but they're thinking, you know what, this is the kind of guy we can't get at 20 in the draft next year. We can't get an Amari Cooper a guy who's could be an elite guy, great route runner, underrated athletic ability, smart, so I just think it's another blow on what's been a tough year for this team and the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Cowboys right now, I think their pick would be number 10.
Right.
And so to them, if they knew that they were going to go into next year and they're going to draft a wide receiver in the first round, and they say, I can look at those receivers and this guy's better than all of them, and we're going to get him for 10 games this year, and hopefully devalue that pick more. Hopefully he helps us win a game or two and maybe turns that in from instead of a top 10 pick to, like you said, a pick in the 20s or late teens.
He should because their receivers are terrible. So, I mean, I think their best guy is Allen Hurns, who's been washed for a while now. So there's no reason why he shouldn't improve their team, at least a couple of wins, I would think. So, but anyway, the Raiders, players are dealing with this, and John Gruden met with them this morning, and I asked him what the message was to the team. And
I'm not going to tell you.
He wouldn't tell me. That's fair. But he didn't tell the team when it happened. Amari was pulled off the field during practice Monday. He didn't talk to him about it when the practice was over. And I asked him, I didn't ask him, somebody else asked him why. And he said because he wasn't official yet. It wasn't, which is kind of
a bad excuse. That's not the bad excuse.
It is a bad excuse because all these guys, even Derek said, they ran off the field and grabbed their phones to see what happened, and he's going to the Cowboys.
He was gone before they even got to the locker room. They didn't even get to say goodbye to him. Derek had a long text from him, but didn't even get to say goodbye to him because.
It's just it was a bad look. I just think some of the guys I think have to face reality. That the guys who came here this year, veteran guys who signed and were told one thing, that's not happening. Like Gruden said today, plans change. Every day is a new day. And he came into the season not thinking he was going to trade Mack or Cooper, he said, but he did. And he was asked about his Carr next, and he said, "No, I think you're done trading," but he can't guarantee it. He's not going to speculate and promise anything, but he doesn't see it. He doesn't see him trading Carr or making any more trades.
And Carr also said the same thing. He said he doesn't really have to ask, but he gets the impression that he's going to be here for until they finish this rebuild and beyond. I think we can all be skeptical about that, but we don't know. Who knows? And I mean, with John Gruden, I think you and I think everybody should reach the point where you don't try to guess what he's going to do next.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sure it's hard to trade Carr now because I think teams that have salary cap space I looked at don't really need a quarterback. Those teams are okay. And then if you were going to make a big trade, like, say, Jacksonville, like they need a quarterback, are you going to take Blake Bortles back? That would have to be a condition of the trade. So I'm not sure that helps you. If you get Bortles on a second-round pick, does that really make you better? I don't know. Because then with Bortles, you're going to have to try to see if he's the guy. So I just think, like Gruden said, he thinks Carr's going to be fine. He thinks it's growing pains. The offense has a bunch of moving pieces, and they'll get better as the year goes on. And if you're a Raider fan, you have to really want to believe that and need to believe that, because otherwise there's nothing to watch this year. There's nothing to see if that doesn't take place.
And we talk about the locker room, and obviously you talked to several veterans off the record on Monday, and I think one of the big quotes out of that was the Khalil Mack trade was the gut punch, and this one felt like the knockout punch. I think they probably all knew that this is where the direction of the team was heading, but when you trade away another former first round pick, a guy who, players, I don't think in the locker room like look at a guy's stats that much and say this guy's fallen off. They just know what he has done, maybe not. They know what he's capable of doing, and they saw that was their best receiver that is now going away.
Plus the timing of it. I mean, these guys just had a bye week. They're 1-5. You come back, you tell yourself, okay, 3 of our next 4 games are winnable. We're playing 3 really bad teams the next month. We're not out of this. We can turn it. We got a bunch of veteran guys. We can turn it around. They show up to practice Monday. Hey, everybody, what's up, man? How'd you do? I had a good time. Yeah, what the? You catch up with guys. You're stretching for practice. We were out there for stretching. Everyone's laughing, giggling. Everybody's having in a good mood. Half hour into practice, you see Amari Cooper gets tapped in the shoulder, and you're like, oh, my God. Oh. And right then.
And you've been hearing the rumors. You've been hearing the reports.
But just seeing it, I'm sure after you've told yourself that we still have a shot. And this offense had trouble scoring points with Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So I just think, like Jordy Nelson, we talked to him today, he said that, it's a business, and nothing in this league will ever surprise him. That did a little bit. He came here to kind of mentor Amari a little bit, so that's out the window. But he said the coach has a plan, and we got to be professionals and work hard, and it doesn't change our approach. So I think you got to kind of grit your teeth. But obviously he's a guy that he said he came here because he was told they're making a push. He's a veteran guy. He believed it, and now they're clearly not. So for him, he's in a rough spot, and just kind of grin and bear it. But I just think it's a tough situation for a lot of these players.
I know you've written often about how Cooper was, quote unquote, supposed to be the centerpiece of this offense, and he asked Gruden about it today, and Gruden basically kind of said, you don't have to keep remembering all my words. That's pretty much what he said. Like, I know I say things, but you don't really have to keep remembering all my words.
That was a long time ago, Vic. What are you talking about?
That was way back in Indy.
And
I had a couple drinks.
And Derek also spoke on that. I just think that you can't really pinpoint one reason why it didn't work out, but that trust wasn't there for whatever reason. And I think it did bug both. I mean, this is my opinion, but I think it did bug both Carr and Gruden when Amari said a few weeks ago that he was open. He came back after plays and said, hey, man, I was open. I think it's the first time he's really voiced that kind of displeasure. I think both guys didn't like that, but I'm not sure it's a big deal. But I think it's a factor. I think that you see that there was a lot that could have been improved on this relationship with all those 3 guys.
All right. Well, obviously, another big topic, a big story right now is Derek Carr, and came about in Marcus Thompson's column on Monday about possibly a fractured relationship within the locker room, and we had Lee Smith asked to speak to the media today to address that. He was kind of really the one guy that did come out and address it. And so we're going to play for you here. This is most of what he said. I missed the first maybe 30 seconds or so. But here's most of the statement that Lee Smith made to the media today.
Attacking his character or attacking him as a leader on this football team is a joke. And I hope that everyone hears me loud and clear of what a joke it is. It's frustrating. It's annoying, and it's laughable and not fair to him when it's obviously not coming from inside this locker room. Anybody can say whatever they want. Coach Gruden and Derek are going to take all the bullets. We're 1-5. We're not playing the football we want to play. Coach Gruden had a lot of expectations coming in. We had a lot of expectations coming in. I understand that those 2 guys take most of the bullets, and those 2 can definitely handle it. If anybody can handle it, it's Derek Carr, based off of the person he is and the character he has. But to ever insinuate that there's an issue inside this locker room with our leader and our captain is the biggest joke I've ever seen. And I've been around this league my whole life. I was my wife, because of how much she loves Derek, because my wife thanks Derek on a regular basis for helping me be a better man off the field. Based off of her love for Derek, she pulled up a video last night. And it was Tony Gonzalez and James Harrison and a couple other guys. And, hell, they were talking about his religious beliefs and his political views and all kinds of crazy things that have no relevance inside our locker room and inside our brotherhood. So the fact that, unfortunately, that was the one time I actually saw some of the stupidity was because my wife was watching it because she's a woman and she loves Derek. So she listens to the nonsense and asks me about it. But unfortunately, I had to bear through 6 minutes of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So the fact that Derek Carr is the best man and the best Christian man I've ever known in my life does nothing but make him a better leader in this locker room. I guess you could obviously talk to the old lineman about the political stances, but that's irrelevant as well. So it's just comical. It's a joke. During that Redskins game, I was just about the only guy standing on the sideline for the national anthem. My entire team was on the bench. I was standing. There's a picture of the old lineman sitting. I'm standing with Jalen Richard. Rodney Hudson's the godfather of my son, for crying out loud, guys. He was on the bench. I was standing. Our political views are irrelevant. What's relevant is that there's a brotherhood inside this locker room that's very special and unlike any team I've ever been a part on. And the attacking of our strongest leader and the strongest man in our locker room is absolute horseshit.
All right, so Vic, you were there for that. I was there for that. Powerful words from Lee Smith. To me, it would have been a little bit different if we could have had a few more people make similar statements. But, we know Lee Smith is a guy that has a lot of respect for Derek Carr in the locker room, and, you appreciate that he came out and made the statement. What were your impressions?
Yeah, I think most players are avoiding the locker room at all costs. Like if you walked in today and saw 35 reporters, I'm not sure you want to come in and, hey, what's going on, guys? But he clearly did. He definitely was bugged by not only the article you mentioned, there was a TV show on Fox Sports 1 where I think Speak for Yourself with Tony Gonzalez and James Harrison and somebody else. But they were also kind of talking about Carr and questioning his toughness, mentioning his religion, how he's so,
And went back to the big reported incident from last year in Washington where I don't think everybody's really had any details on that, but everyone's always kind of said that something weird happened that day.
Yeah, it's because it's still that one TV angle where you think he's standing and he's by himself, but really, like Sports Illustrated had a huge picture of the whole thing, and he's next to both Crabtree and Marshawn with his hands on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And as Lee said today, he was standing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old linemen, some of his best friends on the old line were sitting down on the bench. So a guy's different approaches to that thing, and by no means did it tear the team apart, but it's something that's still stuck with Carr since then, because that first image on TV where he's kind of off by himself, he's praying to himself. Look, it was a bad image, a split second, but that's what everyone saw. Like, oh my God, that guy's by himself, praying to himself away from his team. But I just think that just a lot of stuff with TV and social media kind of gets taken out of context and people kind of get carried away. But I think it was important. I think Carr needed to hear it from one of his teammates. I think Lee spoke for a lot of his guys. I think just because there weren't a lot of guys in the locker room, I don't think it doesn't mean that they wouldn't want to bat for Derek. I just think that Lee kind of took upon himself to be the guy because, again, no one at this point wants to talk to us. It's clearly the questions are obvious. The answers are painful. It's just something unless you're like Derek has to talk. Derek's part of his job is to talk every Wednesday to us. Otherwise, I'm not sure he'd want to talk to us as often as he does. But I just think most players are going to avoid talking to us in general.
You talk about images and how TV plays a role in that, and obviously that was part of the story is the image of Derek Carr after he took that hit and injured his shoulder, and I know that that was mentioned in there as. I don't think it wasn't mentioned specifically. Oh, he was crying, but maybe there was a perception that some people in the locker room saw what looked like it, and whether it's true or not, whether it really did or not, maybe that perception. I don't know. We don't,
And his brother David even said on NFL Network last week that he thought he was crying. Like he called him, "Hey man, why are you crying?" And Derek said that's a look he has. He's not really crying. It's just a look he has.
He says his trainer sent him pictures. We're gonna play Derek Carr.
And you know what? So what if he did cry? Luke Kuechly cried. There's people get injuries and hits to their head. It's a brutal game. You can't really control what your body does. But I can see where people had a problem with it. And I just think just another thing Derek has to answer for this year. It's been a really rough year. Tim's writing about that tomorrow about just how part of John Gruden's job this year was to make Derek's life easier. But he hasn't. It's kind of made his life harder because of the struggles and the problems having on offense and just the way he's dealt with things. So I just think that it's only been 6 games. So Derek's got 10 more games to kind of turn us around in every way.
And here, I actually want to play for you guys. Here's what both John Gruden and Derek Carr had to say about the reports of the fractured locker room, and then Derek Carr asked about both that and having to answer the idea of having to answer questions about whether or not he cried on the field.
I think it's great. I think Derek's doing a lot of good things. I know there's reports out there that the team has, I heard that there's a report out there that a phantom, unnamed source was curious as to some things about Derek. I think Carr's going to be fine. We got a lot of moving pieces now on offense, and it's tough on a quarterback. In the first year of his system, it's doubly tough. So I'm going to keep supporting him. I know I believe in him. I know he's going to be a great player, and you watch and see. He'll play just fine on Sunday.
No, man, I don't pay that any mind. You can just go talk to those guys. If they don't want to put their name on it, I'm gonna leave it as what it is. It's nothing to me. If they want to come say it to my locker, I've had plenty of tough discussions standing right here with teammates, and those are some of the guys that text me yesterday saying, "Don't worry about this bull crap," that kind of stuff. And I can't tell you how many texts I got from former teammates I have now, and all of these things that. It's just when you're losing, crap happens.
Derek, you develop a thick skin as a professional athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. Did you ever in a million years think that at some point you would have to defend yourself against an accusation that you were crying on the football field?
No, never. I broke my back. I broke my ankle. I didn't cry then, so I guess the shoulder was really tough for me. But, it was funny, man. My trainer actually sent me some pictures of me working out making the same face. So I guess I cry when I train too. But, it just is what it is when you're losing, man. Just like any technique or anything you do as a player. When you're losing, when things are tough, when things are happening, we know how that goes, man. I know how it goes. I've been doing it too long.
All right, well, let's move on from that. And it's funny. We just a week ago we were saying, is it time for a fire sale? And I think at this point, it would seem very clear it is. You've traded Amari Cooper. I remember there was about a month ago where I wrote a story for us, and in the headline I referred to them as the rebuilding Raiders, and I had somebody just getting on me that's just speculation. You don't know that they're rebuilding.
Right.
It's funny that just a month ago people were screaming at us for referring to them as rebuilding. Obviously they are at this point. And okay. I mean, you can debate whether or not they needed to or not. I mean, I think I would say that their roster had some decent foundational pieces that you thought you could build around, you thought you could coach up. But I will say they did not have the depth of talent on the roster that they need. So I mean, if you're Gruden, I think that's probably what he looks at, is his team didn't have enough talent. It had some good pieces, but I guess not enough. So that's why you rebuild. I see it if it happens.
I agree with that, but I also think that all we heard about all off-season and training camp was how good the staff is. I put together the best staff. We have enough here. We can make this work.
Coach them up.
And the staff, I think, has really failed. I think not only with Amari, but with Derek, and the defense has been terrible. I think the cornerbacks have been solid. The cornerbacks have been okay on defense. But otherwise, there's no pass rush. The linebackers stink. I just think, Paul Guenther, I thought the bar was pretty high. I thought he was coming out, I liked his resume, I liked what he said, and I have to imagine, we've talked about this in the past, I'm sure when they traded Mack, I'm sure at some point, Gruden's, hey, man, we're going to be okay, we're going to be able to have a good defense, and I'm sure Guenther was yeah, no doubt, we can make this work, and they haven't. So I just think that now we're going to turn to Jason Cabinda. That's the Jason Cabinda era starts on Sunday, which, he's a good kid, because he flashed a little bit at camp, but that's a lot to ask for a guy to come in and make some plays and help your defense solidify. But I think the coaching staff has to take a bigger part of this than even the players, I think, because the players, they can only do so much. And you mentioned the talent, but these guys were brought in. They signed the 24 free agents. They brought these guys in thinking these guys are going to help this year. You can't use the excuse the roster's no good. Then why'd you sign those 24 guys? You signed 24 guys that stink? That doesn't make any sense. You paid some of these guys pretty good money. So I just think, to me, the coaching staff takes a lot of the brunt of this blame. Brunt? That's the word? Brunt? Yeah. But I know, and people on Twitter are you're defending Reggie. No, Reggie's had some terrible drafts. Reggie's, in many ways, he's lucky he'll still be here. But it's also on the coaching staff. Last year's did a bad job. And this year, that was the whole hope that the players didn't maximize potential last year are going to be better this year. What happened was Gruden got rid of a lot of them, and the guys that stayed behind haven't done anything. Mm-hmm. So, it's on everybody.
So, really, do you see any reason to not trade as many players as they possibly can?
No, I would. I mean, if I would keep Derek Carr because I think Gruden was so gung ho about him, and Derek has all of the skills you need to be a top quarterback. So I would definitely keep him and try like hell to make this work in the last 10 games. But otherwise,
Carl Joseph, I mean, get what you can.
I mean, Carl Joseph, if they could get anything close to what they wanted, he'd be gone a long time ago. So there's not a big demand for Carl Joseph. He's not really a fit here.
Garyon Conley, he seems to want out.
He does. He keeps liking the tweets saying, please trade me. But I just think there's definitely an issue there. They don't think he's as good as he's supposed to be, and I think there's probably a personality problem also. But, again, I'm not sure what the value is there. I mean, how low do you want to go? You're going to trade him for a third? I mean, I don't think you can go that low. So I think – you got to hope at some point something clicks. Like, I mean, somebody got to stick him in there, and hopefully that, it gets better. But other than those 3 or 4 guys, I mean, I guess everybody loves Rodney Hudson. He's a big number next year in terms of the salary cap, so I think Rodney won't get traded. But otherwise,
it'd be hard to trade a center and have a center going in and have to completely pick up a new offense. It's not necessarily as much of a plug and play position as some others are.
But even guys like Osemele and Gabe Jackson, there's no guarantee they're here next year. They can definitely be cut for no dead money hit at all. So, I mean, if you get an offer for those guys, I would trade them. I think, and I'm sure that's what's happening. And those guys are all available. I mean, even Derek's available. So I just think, I don't know why you would stop trading now. I mean, you just admit it. Yeah, this is what we're doing. And hey, if you want anybody, come over, kick the tires, give them a little test drive, and maybe throw them some balls, see how they're doing, and have a big garage sale, not even a fire sale, like a garage sale. Have guys on kind of throw the ball around and stop by and pick them up.
Yeah, here's Gruden asked about, are you going to make any more trades? Doesn't want to ever say never, but then specifically asked about Derek Carr, and it's a no, but not a firm no. Have a listen.
I don't see us making any more trades. I didn't see us making a trade the other day. I really didn't. But sometimes, like I said, your plans change, whether you like it or not. You don't know who's going to call you and what they're going to say. You really don't. That goes in all phases of life. But I don't see us making any more trades. But I'll never say never again to anybody. If I said never to you, I'm sorry. I don't think I did.
So if somebody calls about Derek Carr, that's
I'm not going to speculate about that today. I don't see us making any more trades. Certainly, I don't see us trading our quarterback.
All right, well, they've got to play a game on Sunday. Did you know that? They got to play the Colts. Andrew Luck coming into town, and they're going to have to put some guys out there on offense. They won't have Amari Cooper. They will not have Marshawn Lynch, possibly done for the year with a groin injury. He's going to have to miss the next at least 8 weeks, and that's kind of significant because if they had put him on IR last week, they could have saved him.
That's what I thought, but someone called me about that. Apparently not. The bye week doesn't count towards that, so you do not gain anything by the. I think I tweeted that out, but I was incorrect. I was corrected that the bye week does not change that. You still would have him back Christmas Eve at the earliest.
Okay, got it. So
I guess the question
is,
it's
the Doug Martin era.
And with Marshawn, is he done? I mean, you only have 2 guys you can pull back FIR. Do you have him come back for a big Christmas Eve home finale bonanza? Just have a big party. Maybe. I mean, why not? But otherwise,
if he really wants to.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't think he's back next year regardless. I think maybe not here. I mean, but so if he wants to have a big going out, why not? Beast mode, things on sale for half price in the parking lot. Just make it a big day. But Doug Martin
for everybody.
Yeah, Skittles, free Skittles. Skittles can sponsor the game, like Skittles presents the Raiders game. But it's Doug Martin era. So I know people are really excited about that out in Raiderland. They've been waiting all year for Doug Martin, and now it's time.
That does not ease the pain of Marshall. And we'll see what he does. I mean, I know.
I mean, Doug Martin could save the season. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to call it. I'm saying Doug Martin saves the season on Sunday. That's my prediction.
How does he save the season? What does he turn this season into?
They beat the Colts. He restores hope.
They go 5-11.
The offense is sparked. They go 7-9.
Wow.
This is not true. I'm saying this, but I don't mean this. But I do think he can be better than people think he's going to be. I think this is a chance where Gruden may actually hit on one. I think Doug Martin. To me, during camp, he looked pretty good during camp. I mean, the preseason didn't do much. He hasn't looked great, except for that Miami game. He had some nice carries against the Dolphins. But I think he's got some juice. I think if the O-line can do their job, I think he'll be all right. And
we'll see what happens. Obviously, should finally get DeAndre Washington back out there and active. I don't know. I think you obviously they're gonna run out. They're gonna run Doug Martin out there. If you get a couple of games of him and see that he's not it, then you hope you at least get give a chance to DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard. Those guys have gotten chances before and not really seized kind of a lead role. But right. And I think that's why they want to go with Doug Martin because he's been a feature back before. But maybe we'll see what they can do, and we'll see what Marcel Aitman can do. Called up from the practice squad. It's the Marcel Aitman era, and hey, at least it's somebody. Maybe you can see if you got something there.
Yeah, nice big target, and showed the ability to catch the ball in the red zone, kind of block guys out. So, yeah, it's all about at this point. It's all about what he can do. If he's a piece, I mentioned Kabinda and the young guys in defense. I mean, the linebackers any good? You hope someone jumps up and takes advantage of the opportunity. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough thing to watch for 10 weeks.
Got a new kicker. Matt McCrane is gone.
How about this, though? I was thinking about this. I mean, Georgia's going to be available. Georgia had 3 field goals on Monday.
The NFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
56-yarder. And it looked good. And so he's only there because Matt Bryant's hurt. Matt Bryant's back in a week or two. So why not bring Giorgio back? I mean, he's a proven kicker. I mean, I think now, I know the whole crap in the preseason about the guy can only hold lefty. He can't hold lefty kickers, Townsend. But A.J. McCarron, I'm sure can do it. A.J. McCarron's a professional holder. He's done it all his life. I'm sure he can hold for Giorgio. So I think people miss Giorgio's energy in the locker room. He was a solid. It wasn't great, but he was solid. I think you have probably earned a chance to build off that if he was the same coach. I'm sure if Del Rio was here, he'd be back. So I just think, why not? All these young guys are just a total roll of the dice, and I think Giorgio's at least a proven guy.
All right, do you want to make a prediction for this game? I know we probably have not thought very much about Sunday's game against the Colts, but are you ready? Are you in position for a prediction?
I'm ready. I'm torn because if you asked me before this podcast, I was going to say the players are checked out and the Colts are going to win 30-20. But then I heard myself say Doug Martin saves the season, and I kind of liked it. I kind of like the sound of that. I might change my pick. I might I'm going with the original pick. 30-20 Colts.
I'm going to go 28-13 Colts. Yeah, I don't see the Raiders.
Nah.
It's going to be hard to get emotionally. I mean, maybe they get the us against the world FU attitude. I don't know, but I just don't see that. I think. I mean, not only do I not see that, they're deficient in playmakers. I mean, they're sufficiently deficient in playmakers, and I just don't see how they can. They haven't been able to score enough points when they had Marshawn Lynch, when they had Amari Cooper. I don't see how they do it now.
Yeah, but even when they were playing for this season, the defense had trouble, and now I think the Colts are actually getting hot. Luck seems to be healthy again. He's got 20 touchdown passes. Marlon Mack came back last week. He's a pretty good running back. They got 2 really good tight ends, which I think people forget that's the Raiders' Achilles heel because it hasn't really been necessary this year. But I wouldn't be surprised Sunday, he still can't cover tight ends. So I think that's going to be a major problem on Sunday. But I really want to say Doug Martin's going to save the season and pick the Raiders to win, but I can't do it.
Cannot do it. Well, we will see on Sunday. Until then, it's just time to sign off from a boring Raiders headquarters in Alameda. There's nothing going on here.
Enjoy your tailgating on Sunday. That's the best part of the season the rest of the way. Have one for me.
All right. Talk to you guys again on Sunday.